Welcome YouTube, my name is Zach from Blakey Productions and thank you for joining us on our first video here. What we are doing here today is we have a 1952 Ford F1. It originally had the flathead V8 in it. The customer was having some problems with it and we just thought it'd be a lot easier to do the 302 swap. The customer just wanted to hop in the truck, hit the key, and go. If you don't know a lot about the flathead V8, they are kind of difficult to work on, but this is going to be a lot easier process for the customer and us both. I'm not saying that we don't know what we're doing on the flathead V8, but at the end of the day, it's all about what's going to be easier for the customer. So what I am doing here is we're going to go ahead and process a priming the oil. I was starting to fill it, and as you can see, that front drain plug was starting to leak on me. That is used in the early 90s and actually late 80s Mustangs, and maybe some of the Mark 8s and Mark 5s. What they were used that for, so you can get the front half of that oil out, so you can have more of a cleaner oil. So I bought a new pan, went ahead and put the new pan on, and I didn't check them. So that is on me. We did not build the engine here at Blakey Productions. We relied on one of our sister companies, Blakey Classic Car Restoration and Complete Car Care. They do a lot of automotive and classic car restoration. Also, we are sponsored by Pro Series Equipment Lifts. We are using one of the lifts for this project. They do a lot of commercial and hobbyist lifts, 2-post, 4-post, and belly lifts, motorcycle lifts, and they do offer tire balancers. They do offer a delivery fee for the 4-post, pre-built and everything, and they do a lot of car lifts. They do a really great job here. As you can see, I'm going to go back to what I was doing, originally filling it up with oil. What I'm doing here is I'm going to go ahead and prime the engine. It's going to, and what I mean by that is because it has a distributor port, you can go ahead and prime the engine and fill the push rods up with oil, main and rod bearings here. And I'll explain that here in just a second here. The clip fell off the oil tube for the distributor and I had to get it out. Was a bear. But anyways, you can crank them over by the starter and everything. Right there I am going to use an impact system to allow it to build up the oil pressure for the main and rod bearings, so I don't have to spend 5-10 minutes and putting a strain on the starter and the battery, causing issues, the battery cable starters and the battery itself, so I don't have to replace it and have more issues later down the road and put more strain on myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and crank it over with the impact here, build up oil pressure in the valley, and we'll be back with you here shortly. Oh, I was going the wrong way. All right, so unfortunately I was going the wrong direction, as you heard in the video there. But overall, I got it all taken care of. So as you can see, the oil has finally came up through the push rods to the rockers. I'm happy with that. As I said before, you do not want to start this starve with a freshly built engine. You put some strain on those main and rod bearings, also the cam bearings, and if you had some issues with oil pump and everything else, might as well take care of it while you can. So I'm happy with the process. I had to change the battery on it because, like I said, going the wrong way. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the distributor back in. I already went ahead and put it on top dead center on this. So we're going to go ahead and stuff that sucker back in there, as you can see. And then we're going to go ahead and get everything ready to rock and roll so we can crank this thing over and see, you know, how it's going to turn over, make sure we don't have any other problems or anything like that with the engine, any binding with the main and rod bearings. I have seen that happen before. Someone has didn't put too much of a higher thousands of a bearing on it and caused it to strain out, and you know, they are mispackaged or misstamped. So you want to check that before you went ahead with the plastic gauge and everything. But on this, I want to just crank it over, make sure we don't have any issues and everything. And here we go, put the starter back in. Now with the starter on, I can go ahead and crank this thing over. As you can see here with the transmission lines, I don't like how they're hanging up against the engine oil pan. So what I'm going to be doing is trying to push them up there. If not, I'll get some P-clamps later on and come back and bolt those up, make them more, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? You know, appropriate by visual. So anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop this thing down. We're gonna crank this thing over, make sure we don't have any problems, oil leaks or anything like that, and make sure we're all good. I don't really have to do it. I'm just doing it just to be satisfied, feeling really good about this project, and making sure it comes good. Okay, and after it cranks over and everything, we look good. We still have oil coming up through the push rods. It looks good up on the rockers ends and everything else. Sorry it took me a minute there. Battery was dead. I had to use my Snap-on jump pack. Shout out to those Snap-on dealers. Really good jump packs. Now let's go on to the valve covers and get them on. So on the valve covers, I thought I'd go in a little bit different direction. I was going to use the original Power by Ford valve covers that were on 83, 84 Mustang box bodies, but unfortunately they were just too close to the firewall with the little lip there. So I decided to, you know, use the ones from the 90s, sand them down, paint them the same color as the truck. I was very happy with the process and how I sanded it down. Hang out and watch the process of it.
Those turned out really nice. I'm really happy with those. Those are going to look really good on this truck.
And there you have it, looking good. Gonna go ahead and put some tape over that so nothing gets in it overnight or through the day. Overall, looks really well. I'm happy with the progress. I know that I had some up and downs with this thing through the night. It was a bear at certain, parts. I know getting the valve cover on that passenger side was it was a bear. I will not lie to you. I had a hell of a time with it. Overall, the valve covers came out looking really good. I'm happy with the progress of it. And it's just going to be a long process. But here's a picture of the final deeds on it. And again, my name is Zach. I am with Blakey Productions. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the like on that video. Leave a comment. I am going to have 2 links in the bottom of the in the description for Pro Series equipment, and also our Instagram page. Again, this is Zach from Blakey Productions. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. See you later.